Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Corin, also known as the Kitten Choreographer, and I'm a teen with a passion for kitten rescue and makeup. So I do about half and half on my channel. On Sundays I post a kitten video and on Wednesdays I post a makeup video, and since this video is going up on a Wednesday, it's makeup day. Today we are doing a Christmas makeup tutorial. Well, two actually. I'm doing two Christmassy makeup looks for you guys today. I guess I'm calling these Christmas looks because I celebrate Christmas and green and red are the colors that are Christmassy colors, you know, they're just considered Christmas colors, but you can watch this whether or not you celebrate Christmas, and I don't know, what are the colors for other holidays? I don't know. So happy holidays even if you don't celebrate Christmas, and if you do celebrate Christmas, then Merry Christmas. Let me go ahead and zoom you in and we can go ahead and get started. So as always, if I'm looking over here, it is because that is where my mirror is. So the first product I'm going to be using is the Urban Decay Primer Potion. I had a mini of this and then I ran out of it, so I've had this full-size backup ready to start for a little bit now. You really don't need much of this product, but yeah, I got the mini to try it out and then I really liked it, so now I have the full size. And if you hear meowing in the background, or if kittens somehow come into the screen, that is because I do have foster kittens. Here's one of them right now. Basically, I'm using a bunch of different palettes for this look, but you definitely don't have to have all these palettes to complete this look. You just have to have similar colors if you want to recreate this look at home. I don't know if anyone's going to do that, but it would be fun if you did. If you did, tag me on Instagram, which is linked in the description below. So the first palette that we're going to be using is the Strawberry Dream palette from Lunar Beauty. Lunar Beauty is one of my favorite brands, and you may look at this and think that's a super pinky palette with a couple pops of blue. Are we going to do a Christmas look out of this? Well, it does have a red right in the middle there called Sunrise, and so that's going to be the color that we use from this palette. So the first brush I'm going to use is a Tarte brush. It's kind of a flat, slightly blending brush. I don't know, it's just one of the brushes I like to use when I'm packing on intense shadow. So I'm taking the red shade Sunrise, and I'm just going to start to kind of put that low in the crease. Sorry about my hair. I really need to get a clip for that before I start filming, but I never think to. Actually, I'm gonna go get a clip. So I had to take a quick pause to get a clip for my hair. So I'm just taking the shade and I'm just not taking it too high up in the crease, but definitely in the crease. Lunar Beauty shadows are some of my favorite formula, so I know I'm gonna have no trouble blending these shadows. You see, I'm not quite blending it out yet or anything. I'm gonna go ahead and do that on the other side. Packing it and then sweeping it, but I'm still not trying to blend it too high up. Now I'm just going into this shade Cloudy right here. It's just a light shade, I'm just going to use it to blend out that red. This is just an ABH brush, the one that comes in the palettes. You can use just any small blending brush. And this is just to diffuse that shade and blend it out a bit. I'm taking this shade a little higher, and I'm going to do that on both sides. And this is turning the look kind of pinky, which I don't necessarily want, so I'm going to go back into the shade Sunrise and just build that red up again, because I really want the red to be pretty prominent. This is a Christmassy look, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of very gently blend up a little bit higher with that red, because that is the shade that I want most prominently. So now that I have this red laid down, I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do next. I was thinking I might add some black into it from the Soft Glam, the shade Noir. Sorry, I just had to put my foster kitten Peter in the other room because he kept trying to attack my microphone, which has a big floof ball on it. So I'm really thinking about what I want to do is I really need like a darker red, which I do have, but it's in my Blood Sugar palette from Jeffree Star Cosmetics, and I don't really like to feature them on my channel. And so what I'm going to do instead is take that other side of that brush and dip into the black shade Noir and just put some of that on the outer corner. For a lot of people, black can be very intimidating. I've been using black more and more in my looks lately just to deepen up the outer corner a little bit. It's really great for just deepening up any look just a little bit, and I'm just bringing it into the crease, but just a little bit, the really lower part of the crease. And it can be really intimidating, but if you have a good black that you're working with, it should blend easy. I personally really like the ABH mattes. Out of the Soft Glam palette, at least, that's the one I have. I don't find them hard to blend or anything. Now I'm going back into with the brush that we used the red on without any more product. Actually, I am going to grab more product. I decided that I was going to, so I'm going to go back into the Strawberry Dream palette and just take the shade Sunrise again and just blend that out. I really do want this to be more red than black. I just wanted to add the black to deepen up the crease. So I'm really just going over it, and it's okay if it just kind of fades into a little bit of gray. I just wanted to use it to deepen up the crease. And without adding any more product to the black, I'm just going back in on both sides just a little bit and then blending it out on the brush that had the lightest shade. I'm not adding any more of that lightest shade to it. I'm just going back in and blending. Now I'm adding a little bit more red just because I feel like it. All of these steps, like, you add whichever color you think you need a little bit more of to make this look good. I feel pretty good with how that's looking, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the crease with glitter primer. This is the NYX glitter primer. I use it a lot if I want shimmers to be really high impact. or if I just want a faux cut crease look but you don't actually need the cut crease because you are doing the fun glitter primer. I have a couple options. I really want to use this Colourpop Supershock in the shade Under the Sea. Mine's a little bit broken, so I'm not going to hide it up. But I really want to use this. I'm afraid it's a little bit too dry. So I have another option, but I wanted to try it. Okay, that's not too bad. That's showing up a little bit. I might use some of the other one on top. Normally I wouldn't necessarily need to glitter glue with these, but because this one, okay, yeah, this one's pretty patchy and dry, I may have to declutter this. It's a really pretty shade, but it just is really not necessarily laying on the best, which these shades aren't made to be used with glitter primers, and they're also just, they dry out eventually, which is sad, but they do. So I'm going to go into the Juvia's Place, the Masquerade Mini. It has a really nice green shade in here called Mally. It's this bright green here, so I'm going to go into that and try and leave that on top of it. Oh yeah, that's showing up a little bit better. There we go. So I'm going to go back in and blend it a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and repeat the process of putting on the glitter primer and then the Super Shock and then the shade Mally on the other eye. Okay, so this is looking pretty good so far. So I decided I do want a bit of a darker green, kind of on the outer edge of where I have the green. And so I'm gonna go into this Lauralee Los Angeles Sleigh Bell palette, and it has, I do have a deeper red. I didn't know that. I forgot about this shade. But I'm gonna go into the shade Wrapped Up, which is the dark green, on the same brush, and just put that on the outer edge of where I put the green. I'm lazy. I don't use different brushes. If I can keep from washing a brush, I do that. So this is just add a little bit more dimension. You can see there's a little bit of fallout, which I don't mind. I don't mind fallout at all. And that's why I do my base first, essentially, to minimize fallout. On my left eye, I got a little bit too far in with the dark green shade, so I'm just adding a little bit more of Molly from the Juvia's Place palette. Okay, I'm really liking the way this is looking so far. So I'm going to go ahead and take a paper towel and some makeup remover and just kind of take away that fallout. And I'm drawing a sharp line because for this particular look, I want a really sharp line there. If you hear meowing in the background, I'm sorry. I had to put Peter in the other room, but he doesn't really like being in the other room. Okay, so I feel like this look would really benefit from a winged liner. If you don't like winged liner, you can skip this part, but I do like it, so I'm gonna add it. And normally if I was doing a cut creasey situation like this, I would blend back in some of the color into the crease here, but because it's red and green, those colors don't really blend well together. They look good together next to each other, but they don't blend well together, so I'm not gonna do that this time. Okay, so I did one eye, and I did the other eye. They don't match perfectly, but it's okay. Liners are never gonna match perfectly. So this tutorial was personally about the eyes, and since I'm doing 2 looks, I don't wanna make it too long, so I'm just gonna speed through doing all of my products except for like my blush, highlight, and lipstick. But I will hold up the products that I'm using and potentially put their names on the screen. I don't know if I'm gonna do that or not. For blush and highlight. This is the Samantha Mart Chiclet Blush Duo. I'm using the matte side and I'll go in with the shimmer side in a minute. I forgot. The way I do my makeup, it's hard to just like come back for blush and highlight because I'm about to have to disappear again to do brows because I do my brows kind of in a weird spot in my makeup routine. Most people do them earlier. But yeah, I'm just putting blush everywhere because that's where I put my blush, everywhere. And I'm gonna go in with this e.l.f. blush brush. But I usually only use this brush for shimmer blushes, so now I'm just gonna go into the shimmer side and just kind of use that And when I'm doing wintry looks, I don't always put on a shimmery blush, but I just got this blush duo from Samantha March and Ofra, so I really wanted to try out the shimmer side today, and so far it's looking really, really pretty. And I know it looks like I'm putting on a lot of blush right now, but I always have to put on more after I do setting spray. So for the lower lash line, I think I'm just gonna do red. So I think I'm just gonna go back into that shade Sunrise from the Lunar Beauty palette. And just put that on the lower lash line. Now I'm just gonna go just a teeny weeny little bit back into Soft Glam, take a little bit of Noir, tap off the excess, and just do the tiniest little bit. And now I'm gonna go back into that red brush and just blend it out. Now I'm gonna do mascara. The one I'm using right now is the CoverGirl Lash Exhibitionist. So now I'm gonna go in with my brows. I just use an e.l.f. brow pencil right now. I kind of like switch out which brow products I use, but I get one and then I use it up, and then I get a different one if I want to. Okay, so my brows are done. I normally put a brow gel in when I'm just like gonna wear it for the day, but I'm gonna take this makeup off pretty shortly after I filmed it, so it's okay. I realized I forgot to zoom you out again for my face, I'm sorry. But now for my highlight, I'm just gonna use the Anastasia Sugar Glow Kit. I'm thinking I'm gonna use the shade Butterscotch, the gold one right now. I'm going to use a little bit of Marshmallow too, which is the really light one, just because I have very fair skin. And now I'm going to go ahead and take the shade Glistening from my Soft Glam palette and just pop that in my inner corners. You can just use your face highlight if you want, but I like to use Soft Glam as much as possible because I'm trying to use up several of the shades. You can see I really like this palette already. I have Pan in 2 shades and one of them is almost gone. I normally have a setting spray, but I completely forgot to bring one over, and I don't think it's that important if you're not going to be wearing it for a long time, so I'm just going to take a clean edge of my beauty sponge, which is damp, and just kind of press over my face. Oh, I just realized my barrette completely fell out. I don't know where it went. Oh, it's still in there. Halfway. Oh my goodness. Okay, sure, be that way. Now for lips. So I'm really nervous to do this because I've never worn this lip color that I have on my lips. But I basically have green lipstick and lip liner to wear. I'm so nervous, but do I want to do it with this look or the next look? I can't decide. I'm going to do it with this look, just YOLO. Oh, I forgot to tell you, this is the Kat Von D lip liner in the shade, oh sorry, the KVD Vegan Beauty lip liner in the shade Lemmy. Actually, I love this. Now I'm just going to use the Jeffree Star Liquid Lipstick in the shade, I think this is Mistletoe. Yeah, which I don't support Jeffree Star, but I have this lipstick, so I'm going to use it. I love this so much. I've never worn a lipstick shade like this, but I just feel so yes. This is the first look. I don't know if I'm going to film this second look right after this. I'm probably actually going to film it tomorrow. You'll be seeing this like 2 seconds after this, but yeah, this is the first look. Okay, so it's the next day for me, but it's just a couple seconds for you. Now let's go ahead and hop into the second look. So this look is great because it can be super neutral if you want it to be, but it can also be transformed into something really cool like I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna pull up my sleeves because it's kind of hot. I'm also gonna clip back my hair. Just a barrette. Looks ugly, I know, but it's what I have to do for the tutorial. And now my lips are kind of dry just because I just took off a liquid lipstick I was wearing because I was wearing makeup earlier today. It's the evening, but we're gonna go ahead and like prep my lips and just keep them moisturized before I put on the lipstick at the end. This is the Mulan Gold Lip Mask from Colourpop. I really like these masks. I know they have them in several collections now, and I recommend them. It looks gold in the pot, but it is just kind of ends up being sheer. Sorry if you hear kitten meows in the background. My other foster kittens are still in here. They're only 5 weeks old and they get annoying sometimes. Also, I got a comment saying not to apologize, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So I'm priming my eyes with the Urban Decay Primer Potion just like I did for the last look, which I'm trying to remember not to say the same things over and over again because you guys just saw it and you don't want to hear me say the same thing again, but I don't really remember what I said yesterday. It was, you know, yesterday for me, so sorry about that. So like I said, this look is starting out nice and neutral. I was gonna bring over another palette to do this part with, but I guess I didn't, and I just realized that what I wanted to do I can do with this palette too. So this is the Colourpop Original Disney Designer Collection. I believe this is still available. I know their Midnight Masquerade one is not available anymore, but I think this It's a Princess Thing one is. So I am going to use that. I'm gonna start, and because this is a more neutral like eye itself, I'm gonna take the shade Chip, which is this like bone color, and I'm gonna use it to set to my eyelid. I really only do this if I'm doing neutral looks or like softer looks. If I'm doing bright dramatic looks like the other look that I did. So now I'm taking the shade Grumpy right here. Sorry, I meant to zoom you guys in, but I didn't until just now. Hopefully that's okay because we only barely started. I'm glad I remembered just now. So we're taking the shade Grumpy and just putting that in the crease. I hope you guys like using this older palette. I know a lot of people try and use newer palettes all the time, but you know, I have older palettes, so I want to use them. And this, I have two really pretty silvers in my collection, and one of them is in this palette. The other one's in the Elsa palette, also from Colourpop. I guess this one ends up being better because we like use less palettes when we use just this one, because the Elsa one is smaller and has a bit of a different color story than what I wanted to use for this eye. So this is a really light transition shade. It really doesn't work on many skin tones, except for the really light ones. If you're a little bit deeper, you can use this one to set your eye instead of the bone one. What's it called? Chip. I just call it a bone shade because it's kind of that lighter color. I'm gonna go ahead and go into my Morphe 433. I don't buy from Morphe anymore. This is literally the only Morphe brush I have, and it's pretty scratchy. It's not very soft, and it never fluffed out to the blending shape that it was supposed to. So that's why I use it a little bit deeper than the other one. And sorry, I'm taking the shade Triton right here, this satin, or this matte with micro glitter. What's it called? I think it's called a satin, which a lot of people don't like these. I don't mind the Colourpop ones just because they blend out basically to be mattes, but I know a lot of people don't like them, so I guess it's better if they just didn't include them in their palettes, but in the end, it doesn't bother me that much. Although this palette has quite a lot of, like, it's not my favorite palette in my collection, but it is really good for a look like this when I just want, okay, I guess underneath my lights I can kind of see the shimmer in it a little bit, but just under regular daylights you wouldn't be able to see the shimmer, but there is a lot of fallout in this shade. I don't mind fallout either in the pan or on my eyes. That's why I do my eyes first. I'm gonna go into the shade Abu, which is this one, and put that a little bit deeper, just to deepen up the crease just a little bit more. I actually don't need to use very much of the shade because it's not necessarily what I intended, the like tone that I wanted, so just a little bit of this in my crease. And now we're gonna go ahead and go into the shade Beast. It is another kind of matte with micro glitter, and it has gold micro glitter, so I'm hoping it won't show up this time because I'm using a silver on the eye, and gold and silver don't always go together. You can see it a little bit, but it isn't showing up very much. Just dragging this a little bit into the crease, but not very much. I'm just taking our blending brush and just blending that. I think I do want to go in with some black, and there is a black in here, but it is kind of a satin shade, but it looks to have a little bit more sparkle than the other ones in the palette. So I think I do want to go into a matte black, which I don't know if there's one in any of the palettes I brought over. There is not, but my eyeshadow palette collection is just right next to me, so I'm grabbing the first palette that I see. Yes, this is the Berries and Cream from Dominique Cosmetics, but any good black matte shadow really works fine, and actually this palette could complete this look entirely, minus the shimmer. So I'm just going to go into the shade Blackberry on really the same brush we went into the brown with, a little higher up, on like a little just on the tip of the brush, and I'm just going to put this kind of in the same spot we put the brown, but just a little bit lower, because I don't want to use quite as much of it, because black can easily get very intense. And I did use black in the other look in the Soft Glam. You can totally just use the Soft Glam for that palette, but I just have already put away the filming products from that look just because I filmed it yesterday. So now I'm just gonna take my blending brush and just blend that. And I hear Smee sucking on his tail over there. Okay, my favorite brush to do cut creases with is all the way 2 feet away from me on my vanity, and I'm too lazy to get it, so I'm just gonna use the other side of this. I think this is, I'm gonna say it's, the barrel has worn, okay, it's a Luxie brush. You can barely see it on there. I got it in Ipsy forever ago when I got Ipsy, and you can see this is not the perfect shape to do a cut crease with, but I'm very lazy, so I'm just gonna do it. And you don't need to use a glitter primer for this look. You can just use whatever, but I like to use glitter primers to get more sparkly shadows and more precise cut creases. Just when I do want a more precise look. I don't always use glitter primers, but I do when I want a more precise look, like I just said, and when I want my shadows to pop more. If a metallic formula isn't my favorite, glitter primer really makes it stand out and just be a lot better. But Colourpop's glitter formula is fine. I just want the more precise look with this. So I'm going into the shade Thingamabob, which is the big sparkly silver one, and I'm just, and see, you see the metallic shade sticks right where you put the glitter primer. It's just immediately where it wants to stick. This is with a dry brush, just with the, well, I guess it's not dry, it has the glitter primer on it, but like I'm barely tapping So if you're having problems with metallics, or metallics don't stick on your lid well, or just you want more intense shimmers or anything, definitely try some glitter primer. The NYX one is like less than $10, I think, and there's also a good one I've heard from e.l.f., which is like $3, so if you want an even cheaper one. Although the NYX glitter primers at Ulta I've seen in stores, and I don't know if the e.l.f. one's in stores. I haven't seen it before, but it might be there. I just haven't specifically looked for it. So I'm just gonna go in with a little bit of our black brush and just blend that a little bit. I don't want a super harsh edge or anything, so it's looking pretty good so far. So here's a point where I'm saying that if you are into more neutral looks, you can stop here. You totally don't have to add what I'm gonna add next, but if you want to, you totally can too, and that's cool. So the liquid lipstick I just used on my lips for the first look, I'm gonna use to create a green wing. This is the shade Mistletoe from Jeffree Star Cosmetics, and I feel like I'm just beating a dead horse at this point, but I don't support Jeffree Star Cosmetics, but I do have several of his products. So I'm taking my very dirty liner brush that just has like leftover oils on it, but doesn't have any remaining color. That sounds really gross. I feel like us makeup users, we're gross people. We don't clean our stuff nearly as often as we should. So I'm just gonna draw a wing here. Yeah, that is really bad. I thought this was, I'd used this before to create a cool wing, but it's just not doing what it did before now. I don't know why, it's just not as pretty. Oh well, I'll draw both wings and then put a metallic shadow over it. So I also used this palette in the last look. This is the Sleigh Bell palette from Laura Lee Los Angeles. I'm just gonna take a towel, kind of wipe this off. I think I'm gonna go over this with glitter primer to make it stick. Sorry if I seem low energy, I'm just focusing on the look. And now I'm just going to put to that shimmer, which is wrapped up, the green one, over top. Okay, that's really pretty. I like the way that's looking. The great thing about this too is you can always clean it up with concealer after, but I think the initial wing I drew with the liquid lipstick is pretty good, so I'm just now coloring over with the sparkly green. It's a metallic, or a shimmer, I guess. Okay, there is fallout on my face. Keep in mind this look will bring you fallout. I'm just gonna clean this up a bit, just wipe away the fallout. So this is where we are so far. The other part of the look, I am going to use some red, but it's going to be later. So for primer, I'm going to use the Catrice Aqua Fresh Hydro Primer. This is one of my favorite primers. I'm almost out of it, actually. I forgot I'm totally going to do the rest of my base off camera. Well, not off camera. You guys are going to watch me, but it's going to be with me not talking. So I'm going to go do that and probably come back for a little bit sometime. I don't remember exactly when, but I'll come back for a little bit of stuff. Blush, and this is the same blush that I'm using in the last one. I just got it, so I'm really enjoying using it for the first time. This is the Ofra x Samantha March blush in the shade Chicklet. So the same thing I'm doing with the last one. I'm starting with the matte side, and my blush brush is really small, so I can just fit it into just the matte side. And I'm pretty much blushing up just my face with the matte side, and then I'll go back into the shimmer side in just a minute. And now I'm just taking a thicker blush brush to go into the shimmer side, and I'm just applying that over top. And as pretty much always, it looks like a lot when I first apply it, but it's really not. It just looks like it. Or as I apply the rest of my makeup, it will calm down a bit. This is just a blank brush that I use to tone down my blush a little bit after every time I put it on, because I always get blush happy. Okay, now let's do my lower lash line. So for the lower lash line, I'm pretty much just gonna go back in with the matte shades that I did in the order that I applied them. So Grumpy, just gonna put on my lower lash line, and let's do Triton. And now let's do a little bit of Blackberry from the strawberries, or from the Berries and Cream palette from Dominique Cosmetics. And now I always get happy on the lower lash line and put too much product, so this is just taking the big fluffy brush that pretty much only has the bone color on it, and I'm just gonna, so now I'm gonna try and do something fun for the inner corner. Some red maybe? So we'll see, this might look awful. I am using my Jeffree Star Cosmetics Bloodlust palette. I don't have a like bright shimmery red, but the closest thing I have is the shade Bleeding Heart from this palette. It's like a satiny shade, and I really don't like using Jeffree Star on my channel, but this is the only thing that came close to what I was looking for. Okay, so I'm gonna use this brush that's actually stained red, and so we're putting red on, so that's okay. So I'm gonna take that satiny red shade, and I wonder if I put a glitter primer on the inner corner of my eye, I wonder if it would show up more. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the NYX glitter primer and just put an itty bitty bit on the inner corner of my eye, and I'm hoping that when I put this on, if I really pack it on with the glitter primer, it will show up more. Wow, that looks absolutely awful. So I just tried to put that on the inner portion of my eye, and it looked so bad. So what I'm gonna do instead is try and put it just on my lower lash line. And I guess you can use a matte red for this, because this ends up acting like a matte red. I think I'm gonna lay this down and then take a matte red. So that looks okay. I think it'll look a lot better once we add a matte red to it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and grab the Strawberry Dream palette again, a pencil brush, and go into the shade Sunrise, which is the red color, and just blend that out. There we go, that looks a lot better. I like the look of this a lot more. I'm just gonna touch up the green. Now I'm just gonna do mascara and brows, and I'll come back and do my highlight and my lips. So now we're gonna do highlight. This is a mix of Rodeo Drive and Pillow Talk from Oprah. It's the Samantha March Starred inspired highlight. I really like it, and today I think I'm gonna mix the two shades. It really doesn't go with this look. It's not a highlight I would normally pair. I just brought it over because I really wanted to use it. So I'm gonna mix the two shades and just apply it. A silvery highlight would probably work better for today, but a mix of the two kind of turns into just a really pretty highlight color. Okay, and again, I didn't bring over a setting spray, so I'm just gonna bounce out my makeup, or put my sponge on my face, I don't know what to call it. Then I'm gonna take my blush brush and just blush up the cheeks a bit more, because I always have to do that. And same with my highlight brush, no additional product in either of those. Okay, so now I'm gonna wipe off my chapstick, or the lip mask I put on. I'm gonna use the KBD Vegan Beauty Lip Liner in the shade Outlaw, and the Colourpop Disney Villains lipstick in the shade Cruella. Now I'm gonna top it with the shade Cruella. And my battery's about to die. I'm almost done though, so we gotta hurry up. So this is a very bright holiday lip. You definitely have to do it, but let me zoom out and do the eye outro. I hope you like the two looks that we did for holiday. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to like it and subscribe for more kitten and makeup related content. I do have a Venmo, PayPal, and Amazon wishlist link in the description below that you can donate to if you would like to help save my kitties. Thank you so much if you do decide to donate, but no pressure whatsoever. I upload on Sundays and Wednesdays, Sunday with a kitten video and Wednesday with a makeup video. Also, please make sure to leave any thoughts or questions that you have down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching again, and goodbye!